Madison. As you can see, we are back outside. I just want to welcome you guys back to my channel. So today I just want to talk about, I'm not even going to mention the summer intensive. I just want to talk about how I started ballet and talk about like literally my first year of ballet. So I started only 3 years ago, pretty much, like 3.5 years ago. And I wasn't good, as expected. In fact, the reason why I joined it was actually not because I wanted to. It was because my mom was thinking that I haven't really been doing anything. So she just decided, like, maybe you want to try ballet? And at first, I was like, nope. But then my mom said, you should at least give it a try. And I gave it a try. I hated it at first. Now I love it. So I gotta thank my mom. She's the best. She's also the editor, so like she does all the amazing stuff and she's great at everything. And yeah, but that's how I started off. That's how I joined it. And my first ever production that I was in was this year. It was the Nutcracker, Miami City Ballet Nutcracker at the Kennedy Center. I was actually the prince in it. And I was gonna actually quit ballet before, but then I got the role and I enjoyed it again, and then I saw my potential. But yeah, I've only been in like 3 productions. Most of the kids who go to my studio have been in like, I don't know, 5, I would say, but I've only been in like 3, and that they were all this year. So the reason why I kind of like thought that maybe I could do this is when I saw Billy Elliot, and I saw like the main character or the person who played him, Owen Tabaka, and he kind of inspired me to do it. And I was thinking maybe I can actually do this. Oh, and by the way, Owen, my inspiration, is actually in my intro for my channel. If you pay attention, you might see him. And then I also remember the day that I went there. It was like a kind of like an evaluation. It was like a beginner's body check kind of. And I remember just like thinking like, do I really want to do this? Because I went into the class. They said that I actually had the body to be able to do ballet. And I went into the class and I was like looking at them and I was thinking like, I guess I can do this. I'm not sure if I want to do this, but I guess I can actually do it. I gave it a try. At first I did not like it. But I got used to it, and I started, like, I started liking it a bit more. Oh, also, I'm thinking back to my old boys class. Yeah, I gotta talk about my old boys class. So I remember when, this was like 3 years ago too, during my first ever boys class. It was funny. I was thinking about this one clip where I was going like, doing like a saute or a basket and a passe, and then the teacher was like, it was horrible. My mom still has that. And it was like, oh jeez. It was funny because my teacher's face was just like, what is this kid doing? Yeah, and that's when my studio had a lot of boys. So now my studio doesn't have a lot of boys. Half of them like either they graduated or they quit, and that's sad. But at the same time, some people just aren't into it, and then they just grew out of it and they just tried other things. And yeah, my boys classes were always kind of interesting, and it's kind of now, because during like 2 years it was kind of just like me and Cashel. Or I need to explain who Cashel is. So Cashel is a boy who's been in my level for a while. He's been doing it for like, I don't know, 8 years now, I think. And we've been like in the same class for like 2 years, and it was just us. Like this year it was literally just me and him and a boy named Obi who's virtual. And then last year it was like me and him and some of the other boys, but they were all most of the time virtual. So it just felt like me and him. But my first year it was with me and him and a lot of other boys. And now in Mr. Munoz and Mr. Doyle's class in the boys technique, it's me with other boys. So it kind of is bringing me back to like those older, like my first year. And because it's kind of like I was always the worst out of all of them, and I'm still the worst out of all of them. But to be fair, they're above my level, so it makes sense. that they would be better than me. Also, another funny thing, I was just thinking about my first ever, like, kind of like a performance, but it's not really a performance. I was just thinking about it, and I was doing Fortnite dances in the background, and then my mom like caught me doing it. I'm just looking back at it. I was like, a couple like weeks ago, we were looking back on it. I'm thinking like, bro, what am I doing? Like, it was just so funny. That was like my first ever like performance, but it wasn't really a performance. It was like a performance in studio. So remember when I mentioned the Nutcracker? So yeah, the Nutcracker auditions were happening at a time when I was about to give up on it, because here's what happened. I never really enjoyed it. Like, I never had my experience that I just really loved it. It was always just like, okay, I'm just doing it. Nothing crazy is happening. I don't like it really too much. And the reason why I was about to quit was because, first of all, I wasn't enjoying it like too much. I was enjoying it, but not too much. And it was also around the time when I was about to start middle school. Yeah, it happened this year. I just got into middle school, and it was very stressful because my mom also said that I had to do student helping, and I was just thinking that this is too much, and then the kids are I just didn't think it was gonna work out. So I just said, Mom, I don't really want to do this anymore. But I did give the auditions a try. I'll probably do a story time about that in an upcoming video, probably. That's pretty much how I started, and like how I got in and started like enjoying it more. And I also want to talk about what my goal is. My goal is to basically just start inspiring more boys to do ballet, because obviously there's not many. And I feel like people think it's more of like a girly sport. I want to prove that maybe like it's not, and that you can probably have fun in it if you give it the time. It takes a lot of effort. Some people think it's easy. Trust me, it's not. And I think more boys should start doing it. And that's probably the wrap up for today's video. There I am. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe.